Up next, we've got Appending Queries. And you'll find the Appending Queries tool right under Merge in the Home tab of the query editor. When you click that button, you'll see this really simple dialog box where you can choose to append either 2 tables or 3 or more together. Now, both merging and appending are similar in that they're adding information to an existing table, but they're different in that merging is adding columns and appending is stacking rows. So basically, appending queries allows you to combine or stack 2 tables, assuming that they share the exact same column structure and data types. So that's super important to keep in mind. Same structure and same data types. So in this case that we're looking at here, we're appending 2 tables together. There are 2 different AdventureWorks sales tables, one from 2020 and one from 2021, and it's a valid append since they both share identical table structures. So just like we've talked about, merging makes tables wider by adding more columns, appending makes tables taller by adding more rows. So a pro tip here that I want to share with you, and we'll actually dive into this with the demo in the next lecture, is to use the folder option from the Get Data menu. And what this lets you do is actually point Power BI to a folder containing as many files as you choose, which allows you to append all of them at once, assuming that they share that same structure. And the beauty of it is that over time, if you add new files or remove files, simply refreshing the query, refreshing that connection will automatically append any new data that's shown up within the folder. So it's a really powerful option that we'll dive into within the next video. But for now, let's cover the basic append options and we'll shift gears into Power BI so we can take a look. All right, so we're inside the query editor and I'm in my sales data 2022 table. And we've got a bunch of data sources in here. But the problem here is that none of these data sources share the exact same structure or data type. So what we need to do is we actually need to go and get some new data. And again, we're going to do this right from our new source tools. And we're going to go and we're actually going to bring in our other 2 sales data sets. So let's connect to 2021. All right, preview looks good. All right, I want to quickly update my table name. Again, and then our column headers, data types, everything looks good here. All right, let's go back. We'll get our 2020 data set. And we'll add this into the query editor. And following our very similar repeatable process, we've got our data preview. Again, everything looks good here. Same steps. We'll update our table name. And then I'll just confirm again that our data types, column headers, everything looks good. All right, so now we've got these 3 separate sales data files, right, for 2020, 2021, and 2022. And they are all consistent in terms of the number of columns, except for our 2022 data set. Right? This is where we had added in our quantity type column when we were practicing our conditional column tools. So one option would be to go ahead and continue to append these together. You'll see some null values for the quantity types in the other 2 tables, and you could pretty easily redefine the conditional column to the full append version. In this case, we're just going to go ahead and remove it. Right? So we come over to this column. We can actually delete our last applied steps. Right? And now we're back to the same exact structure across all 3 of these tables. So with one of them selected, it doesn't really matter which one. I've got 2022 selected here. From the Home tab, we're going to go to the Append Queries, right again, right below Merge. And again, we've got those same options that we saw in the Merge queries. We can append queries or append queries as new. And for this example, I want to append queries as new. Right? I want to create a new table that's based on these other 3 queries. Right, so we've got our dialog that pops up, and we actually have 2 or more tables. So we're going to collect 3 or more tables. You can see here that we already are showing our sales data 2022 as part of the append, because that's what's selected. And then we have all of our other available tables here. And if we scroll down, we can hold down Shift and click 2021 and 2020, and then click Add. And now we've got all 3 of these tables that we are going to append together. Right? Click OK. So here we go. We've created this new table. Its name is just append1 by default. So let's update that to something a little bit more readable. All right, so we'll call this sales data 2020 through 2022. Again, just to be clear. And now we can look through the column structure here. We can see that our columns are exactly the same. We select our order date dropdown and view more. We've got all of our 2020. Scroll all the way down here. You can see all the way down to June 30th, 2022, right? And then probably in the middle here, we've got all of our 2021 data. So everything looks good there. We've successfully appended all of our sales data together. So everything might seem great, but one downside to this approach is now that I've got this table with all of the data in it, let's say I want to get rid of these individual tables here. If I right click and select delete, I get a message from the query editor saying like, hey, we can't delete this table because it's being referenced by another query. And Power BI won't let me actually delete this because it needs this table in order to populate this table that's appended. So the problem here is that our new table, our sales data 2020 through 2022, is dependent on 3 other tables. So we kind of have to keep all 4 of them here, which it's okay, but honestly, it's not the greatest. We've got duplicate, redundant queries in the editor, and while it's probably not really going to create any big problems, it's just messy and not great form. So one way around that, which I recommend very much, is to move these files into a folder and then connect to the folder itself. So stay tuned because in the next video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to do that.